people of the World Wide Web. So it is a Wednesday. It is another look what I have been watching. So yes, this is a recount of the past 14 days or 2 weeks that I go over every physical media watch and streaming watch that isn't the cinema. Essentially, cinema is always kept to the weekends. You can find there's a playlist there. I think it's 26 movies. It's called. So yes, so we have a small kind of bunch of stuff, and you will probably notice a theme. So as in my previous video, I've managed to fix my 4K issue, which means I've now got a designated 4K player. So this is why literally every movie that I have special edition that's a 4K, I've been able to watch, and I have watched progressively over the 4 weeks. So let's get into it. So first off, this is a DVD. This is a region one. This is one I picked up recently, a 90s movie that probably no one's ever heard of, or not a lot of people. Rob Schneider, essentially surf and ninjas, with Leslie Nielsen there. Essentially, these two are the princes of a nation. They are taken because the general goes to take over the hand and kills all their family. Their uncle comes to get them at a later life when they're in kind of witness protection and brings them back, and they have to basically fight ninjas, and they have special powers, with Rob Schneider being the comical, the comic in it. I find it very funny, very cheesy for it. Interesting though, so this guy here, he is or was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. So when I did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, he was the stunt double in 1 of, I think, Donatello. In 2, he's then Kino. Because that movie did so well and he got popular, they then signed him to a free movie contract. This was the first movie of what would be free. Unfortunately, due to a lot of issues and this coming out and not doing very well, that contract was then broken, and he only did the one. He did go on to do other stuff, but I really enjoy it. I think there was a lot of problems with distribution and advertising, and I believe because this main character and his dad are the stars, they had to help promote stuff like that, and obviously because they're not that big stars, I don't think it got as widespread as it should have done. I say it's a very silly, funny movie. If you grew up on it, you probably like it. If you probably watched it now, the whole nostalgia thing, I don't know if you would really find it that funny, or probably just think this is a pile of rubbish. But I enjoyed it. So there we are. That is the first one for so next one we'll go to streaming. So we go to Netflix. So this is the anime series The Summer Hikaru Died. So this was a very interesting anime, and I'll put it like that. Essentially, it starts off with Hikaru. He is basically goes missing. In this local town, they have a big hillside, and there are kind of demons, they believe, that are in there. Why do people are out? They find, or you get to kind of witness Hikaru's body, who's basically dying, and then some sort of creature demon takes him over. Then fast forward 6 months, you have him and his best friend, and his best friend basically confronted him, telling him that he knows he's not who he says he is, he's something else. And then he kind of comes out, and his face kind of merges a little bit into a little bit of jelly kind of stuff. You then go through the course of the series, which I think is only 12 episodes, essentially because he is some sort of demon from the hills that took over Hikaru's body. He is building a connection with Hikaru's best friend, but along the way, because his presence is kind of out of the hills, he draws evil spirits to them, and then has to kind of have confrontations. And it's essentially this danger of these creatures and stuff coming here, and people noticing like the spirits used to be in the hills and they're not, and then it's the weird kind of hybridy kind of symbiote creature that Hikaru is now and his best friend, and them having kind of a connection and stuff like this. And it was all right. It wasn't the best because a lot of it is a bit vague. It reminds me a few bits of some other animes in their style and stuff like this. There is a second series that is coming. I don't know if I would watch it. So that's the first one. Second one we watched on Amazon Prime. It is Merv. So we have Charlie Cox and Zooey Deschanel as previous parents of Merv, the dog. Essentially, they have broken up, and they have co-parenting with Merv. So 1 week he goes with one parent, 1 week he goes with the other one, and then it's kind of the trials and tribulations of them working through their issues to then, as you know, with most romantic comedies, and this is centered around Christmas, that they then end up getting back together. What did I think of the movie? I think really bad miscast. Zoe Deschanel, I just found as annoying. There were actually, in the point, there were two other characters that come into it, love interest for them both, and to be honest, I felt that they were better off. It is obviously, there wasn't enough around Merv, that he's supposed to be depressed and stuff like this, but it's more about the humour side. I like Charlie Cox. I just don't think this is the role for him, and the script and everything. Some stuff you could see a mile away, but yeah, you know, I just, as it went on, I just found them more annoying. You knew where it was going to, and you kind of just wanted them to fast forward to get to that point. Big lover of dog and dog movies, but this is one I wouldn't be buying if they do release it or rewatching ever probably again. It is what it is. I like the character, the actor and actress and other stuff, and I like Merv, but wasn't enough. So next up, obviously, we have the first movie that I played on my player, and it is Horizon Part 1, or An American Saga Part 1. So this I went to see at the cinema a few years ago, absolutely loved it, made it into my top 10. Now, obviously, this is meant to be part of 4 movies. 2 has been made and been shown, but has never been released over here, at least. 3 is in production hell. 4 hasn't even been started. Kevin Costner has been sued by the maker or costume people from this movie because they weren't paid correctly. He put a lot of his own money in, but I really enjoyed it. It definitely left it open and wanting more. I like the fact that it's a long movie. It's just over 3 hours, I think, and the fact that by the end of the movie, you are wanting to see more. You want to see where these characters are going from, and it is very much shows that obviously there are certain aspects of people like the Indians and like the invading people, so to speak. There are good people there, there are bad people, and obviously there are aspects that these dark people end up causing a lot more chaos for a lot of other people, especially near the end of this movie. Really liked Kevin Costner's character in it. Obviously, it takes an hour to turn up the screen. Obviously, we have the guy who plays Vecna. He's in it for a little bit, but there's a lot of these intertwining stories that I wanted to see where they would go, and I'm not the biggest Western fan. I really do hope they at least release 2. It'd be really cool to have a physical version of 2 to watch with this, and then if it didn't get finished, I'd be gutted, but you've seen half the story, and you get to see more of what goes on. But you can't have everything in this day and age, and obviously we know not everybody turns up to the cinema. It was stuck to streaming in America, and I've seen with them releasing 2 at like some Cannes Film Festival and then cancelling it, that it obviously did well enough, but obviously I think the finances is a big thing with this. So next up we have the special Arrow edition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, 2 and 3. So this was great going down this rabbit hole of these movies. One I probably watched the most out of I'll probably say 3 I probably watched the most. One I probably watched the most recently in the past 10 to 15 years. And to be honest, I really enjoyed all the movies. I really liked the first bit of the second movie, but I thought the second movie was a little bit weak in places. So yes, hopefully a bad editing will probably come out. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's been a while since I've seen all of them together, and rewatching them, I actually really enjoy the beginning bit of 2. I do enjoy some stuff. I enjoy actually the music from 1. I find Vanilla Ice's one, I think I've watched it a little bit too many times. It's a little bit cheesy, and Super Shredder's over so quickly. Like, I actually prefer 1 and 3 a little bit more than 2, but still, they're all really good watches, I say, and 2 does have its a few little bits in it that I do really, really like. So yeah, glad to have this trilogy. Glad they updated it. I say my next one, I'm hoping, and I've heard that we will get a Mortal Kombat version, which I really do hope, because I enjoyed that movie from the 90s. It reminds me very much of being a kid and stuff like this, which is kind of what movies are about, to invoke these memories and stuff that we have. So next up we have a few more that I got for Christmas that delayed me getting through. So Kraven the Hunter. Really, really enjoyed this. I actually enjoyed this movie. I thought this is one of the better movies. I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was great. I like the fact that Comedian was his brother and how they went about it. The fact there is kind of this serum that made him the way he is, but obviously because the Hunter and stuff I thought worked really well. And the fact it's an earlier Kraven, and that obviously you can kind of see where he comes from, and that obviously there is so much more potential. I have heard a rumor that the Sony characters may make a cameo in the next Marvel Avengers movie. I don't think so. I think it'd be great if we did see him, even if it's a little cameo. But I really enjoyed this movie. So glad to have it in the collection. Glad to have the rewatch. So as we go on special editions, we then have the Wild Robot. So I've been waiting for this steelbook for ages. Was going to get my own custom one, and then they released it. So I will show it off again. So this is a great movie, done by Brad Bird, I think it is, who did How to Train Your Dragon, I want to say. He came up with this concept, which is essentially this robot lands on this island by mistake, crushes Bluebeak's mum, and then basically tasks herself with looking after him, and then kind of rewrites her code to become a little bit more human. And it's kind of the ideal what you would want AI to be, to AI to kind of become a little bit more human in the way it works, rather than like wanting to take us over. Obviously it has a book as well with stuff. Has the Mandalorian as Finnick, the fox, which is really good, and the characters all really work well together. It's a really nice cover and collector's edition. Glad to have this. And say, really good movie. I think it was close to my top animated one from 24, I want to say. I'm glad they released a special edition, and I'm glad I got it, because I said I felt it really did deserve. Next one up was one I watched when it came out. I found it a little confusing and I needed to rewatch it. My wife got me this for Christmas. So this is the Oscar-winning Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is kind of split into 3 bits, even though it's kind of 2 bits and then the final one. Essentially, it's different realities and stuff. And you have that this Michelle Yeoh, Data, wherever his name is. I can't remember. It's in a foreign language because you couldn't get it in the UK. And then the surprise part is you don't see her daughter. Her daughter is kind of the evil one, but they're in alternate realities and they can kind of sift through different regions into different realities. Rewatching it a second time, I got the movie a lot more. It's, even though you have all these interdimensions and stuff, and you have the bagel and the googly eye, it all kind of culminates the story. And it's a very interesting story, and I got it that the fact it connects the family. Rewatching it, now I understood it. It's very well done. I like the visual effects and obviously the small crew that they had to enjoy it. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think, for me, it probably should have won the Oscar. In my opinion, it is a very good movie in the way it's done, and I think the actors and actresses needed recognition, and I think that's, for me, they deserve recognition. This maybe isn't the one thing that they deserve it, but I'm glad they did, because all of the actors and actresses do really well. But there it is, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I always have most of the Oscar movies and keep it. As I say, I'll happily watch it again. Now I understand the movie a little bit more. And it's good. Like, they do have some good fight scenes and stuff like that in there. Next up is another one I got from the mother-in-law and father-in-law. So this is the Predator trilogy. So this is Predator 1, Predator 2, and Predators. Been a long time since I've seen them. Rewatching it, I actually thoroughly enjoyed Predator. I've always said Predator's never been up there. I never have that nostalgia, because when it came out, I was a little kid. I didn't get to see it until a long time. It's good to find out all the information, like the Jean-Claude Van Damme was like the body double, and he was going to be the predatory alien and stuff like this, and what they did. And I think rewatching it, one is done superbly. Even when you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger and how it's filmed, at first I was like, is that deep faked AI? But because of just how good it comes across on the Blu-ray. But it's a really good movie, very simplistic done for the designs and the I'm glad they redesigned it. So I didn't know James Cameron had a little bit, he wanted the claws things, and his suggestion to is it Ray Winston's, or it's the studio, that was one of the things he wanted, and I thought it'd be cool, and that's what they ended up instilling in the design rather than the bug thing. I thought it worked really well. All the musty people, you definitely could believe they are who they say they are and doing what they're doing, and you know, they get to blow their own trap up and stuff. And I thought the Predator hunting them and stuff like this worked really well. Very much with them, it definitely leaves open about how he can see infrared, and they mention that he can see different stuff. So it was that. So we went to 2. I've only ever seen 2, I want to say once. So this was my second watching of it. I actually really enjoyed 2. Um, I found it a little weird that the Predator would go into such a big civilization area, because obviously he is a hunter, he's in the wild, he wants to know the environment. But obviously with the police and everyone else, and in this, you know, he goes from fighting a team of 8 people, to basically there are dozens of people, but he picks off the gangs and stuff like this, and you could see some reasons why, and obviously why he chooses Danny Glover's character to kind of have the fight against, because he sees him as like this great warrior, and obviously how he got defeated in the gun, and obviously we now know from praying at where the gun come from and everything else. I thought it was really, really good. I was surprised. I don't think it was bad as what people said. I'm becoming, as I watch a lot more movies now, when I go back to watch older movies, I quite like seeing that older kind of what the world used to be like 20, 30 years ago and stuff like this, and a bit more grittier films and stuff like this. I quite like that rather than what we have now. It is what it is. And then we have Predators, and I absolutely adore Predators. I'm a big Topher Grace fan, and I like the fact he got to do something different from what he's used to from comedy. Obviously, Lawrence Fishburne's great in it. Obviously, you have the different Terminators. I thoroughly enjoyed the story from start to finish. I enjoyed all the characters and how they did them, and it was really clever. The one thing for me, and maybe people out there, I would like to know how they were selected, because obviously from Predator movies before, the Predators go to their planet and do it. They don't kidnap them and send them this, and obviously them being kidnapped, that wasn't even discussed. And obviously a follow-up to Predators would have been really interesting to learn, like, how people have picked where this planet is. Is this the home world? I assume this is not the Predator home world. This is another world that they use like a gaming resort and stuff like this. Adrian Brody shines in it a lot with the other actors and actresses. But yeah, I thought it was very, very clever. Really, really enjoyed this Predator movie. So let me go to the last one that I watched, the TV series. So it's The Lincoln Lawyer season 4. So yes, this is the latest version on Netflix of the adaptation of the books that did have a movie with Matthew McConaughey. You may recognize the Lincoln Lawyer himself. He was the dad in Jurassic Park Rebirth, if you're not familiar with the series. But this is his series about he's a lawyer. The first series ended with basically one of his previous clients, who's a con artist, ending up dead in his car. He basically been pulled over and put in jail. And then this series is essentially the whole court case, how he does get out, how people are intertwined, and how he's linked with his story, what happened, was he set up and stuff like that. It was a good story until, and I put the until in there because at the end of the day, the way the court case ends is not how you would expect it or you would hope it to do. Obviously, this is an adaptation of a book. I've not read the book, I don't know, but I felt that it wasn't quite the ending Mickey, the main character of Lincoln Lawyer, deserved. It was very much a kind of formality one, and I don't know if, for knowing Mickey's morals within this movie and trying to prove his innocence, to then kind of get the case dropped and then say he wasn't involved with it rather than actually having the truth come out, is a bit of a shame, I think, because I feel his character deserves that reward to say, like, this is the person that did it, this is what happened, I am totally innocent, because then it's out there and his kind of slate is clean from that side of things, where this saying that obviously the government and stuff like this, I feel like there's a big question mark of, you could say, oh, this was a buy off or a bribe or something really like that. And I felt it, but that's how the end kind of episode starts, if you kind of have this section, and then they bring a little twist in at the end, and I absolutely love the twist. We obviously get to see a new character in this series. It's Cobie Schmolders, obviously Agent Hill, or from How I Met Your Mother. Really like her as an actress. Really thought it was very clever how she's brought into it, and obviously they're still kind of continuing on a little bit of season 4 story. So I look forward. It already got renewed for a season 5 before season 4 was released. Definitely deserves it. Great series, as I say. Just a little problem with that ending, but that is that, unfortunately. So finally, we have the last 2 films. So this is My Girl and My Girl 2. So haven't seen these since I was a kid. Rewatched it Didn't find number one as sad as I thought it would. It's good to see Macaulay Culkin and stuff acting. And Anna Klumsky is at the girl. She has proper acting chops. I'm surprised she hasn't done more from these. Obviously, forgot that Dan Aykroyd's the dad. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, and obviously the kind of the girl going to be the girlfriend of it, mortuary and stuff like this. And there is some foreshadowing, but it is a very coming of age story, and it does bring back memories. As I say, I wouldn't say this is the most amazing movie, but I thought it was a good movie, well done. Didn't know they did a second, which is why I bought the 2-pack, and it was only like a quid or something, £1.50 for the two. I've never seen it, didn't realise that then she goes off on summer, finds a guy, and kind of finds love. Kind of a nice guy for what she kind of deserves. Obviously, she is a young child, and they are all experiencing this. And I think for her mum dying when she was young, and then having this new mum come in, and the second one, and obviously she's pregnant and a child and everything, and her stepping away but learning stuff. As I say, it's very much coming of age, and I think both of them are quite good movies. So glad to have this in the collection. But that is everything. So that has been, with a few things, not massively amount. I don't think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 films. So almost one a night. Obviously, it's been a bit slow. I think I've got 5 more movies, and then I'll wipe out. And then I'll be bringing the rest of the stuff that I've got for Christmas and presents and stuff. And then I'll be doing a video on the last few shelves to show you basically picking out the last movies that I have to watch of my collection. And then I've watched every single movie that I own, apart from obviously what any I pick up. But yes, this has been a look what I've been watching. Thank you very much for tagging along this video. I know it's probably 20 odd minutes, but obviously if you are a bit, sorry, the dog's chewing something, so I'm making sure he's not, everybody a dog owner, you know, if your dog starts eating something, you need to check what he's doing. He seems all right. But if there is, thank you very much, as I said, for taking along this video. Lost my train of thought there. If you really enjoyed this video, stuck along that you think that you might want to listen to my voice a little bit more, I know not many, but please do hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate it. Or drop a comment. Or as you see, I watch a weird and wild variety of movies. Do feel free to add any suggestions in the chats below, what you feel would be great. You know, maybe something you think that I maybe not have seen but might watch. Always like recommendations. Otherwise, I've been Christmas off signal at the time, and I'll definitely see you next one.